So let's talk about hiring the right versus the wrong VP of sales, especially if you are in the early stages of, say, 2 to 10 million in ARR and you've never had an experienced VP of sales hire before. There's a lot that can go wrong, and the majority of the time it actually does go wrong. Before I dive into how to hire the right kind of VP of sales, let me share with you the perspective I'm coming from. I work with SaaSCEO.com. We are a non-traditional B2B SaaS accelerator. We work with companies between 2 to 20 million a year in ARR and guide them all the way through to an exit without diluting any of their equity. If you're interested in learning more, go to SaaSCEO.com. Now, over those years, we've seen a lot of SaaS companies, really since 1998, when SaaS really started getting going, before it was even called SaaS. And we see a very particular pattern of a very common problem that for some reason most founders, actually almost all founders, are not really aware of because all of them make the same mistake over and over again. All right, here's what it is. When you are in the early stages, say under 7 million in ARR, what you're trying to figure out at that life stage of a company is not just figure out how to get sales, but how to get sales and generate revenue in a way that's repeatable by additional new sales hires. That's very important. A lot of SaaS businesses sort of say 1 to 3 million in ARR. A lot of times the lead salesperson is the founder themselves. And the founder might have a lot of status in the industry, might have a lot of contacts, might have a huge network, and can close deals because of who they are, as opposed to what they are doing in the sales process itself. The problem with this is after 1 or 2 million in ARR, that doesn't scale, right? I can't clone you in order to scale revenues. If you're the founder and you have all these relationships and you're getting deals because of your personal referral and your personal brand, I can't clone you. And if I can't clone you, I can't scale sales. So the key here is you have to figure out sort of in that journey between, say, roughly 2 to 5 million in AR, how do you generate sales in a way that's a repeatable methodology, one that can be codified and taught to additional new hires? The right time to hire a VP of sales, at least the majority of the VP of sales that are available in the labor market, is after you have figured this out. After you have figured out a sales process or a sales motion that works no matter who's doing it. Because 90%, 95% of the VPs of sales that you will find out there are pretty good at taking a SaaS business that has a proven sales methodology that works and amplifying it by adding more people, adding more resources, and multiplying the successful formula, right? But they require as a prerequisite the formula for sales, for getting a sale done, already figured out. Now, a lot of times, SaaS founders will hire a VP of sales when they're not generating any sales and they want some. And maybe the founder, maybe you, are not really good at sales yourself, which is okay. But you have to be aware of where are you in the maturity stage of your SaaS company? And have you figured out a sales process that works or one that has not worked yet and requires someone to go figure out how to make it work? Because that is a very different skill set. In my experience over roughly 30 years, maybe 5% of the VPs of sales out there, 8 or 9 or 10% at most, know how to take a SaaS business that has no proven sales process and can figure one out and get it to work and then scale it. And here is why. Because getting a sales motion or a sales process to work is not only the job of the sales function. If your product sucks, no sales motion is going to work. If your strategy is to sell to anyone that's willing to buy, right, then what will happen is it's very hard to get a product good enough to have exceptional product market fit that makes a sale easy enough that a salesperson can close it, right? So getting a sales motion to work is a cross-functional and multidisciplinary, ultimately CEO level decision. You cannot have a great sales motion that sells crap. You cannot have a working sales motion when you have poor ICP or ideal customer profile selection that doesn't match where the market is at. Okay. Hiring a VP of sales never fixes that problem. So in our experience, it has to be multidisciplinary, and you have to recognize what kind of sales problem do you have. Do you need someone to troubleshoot a sales motion that is not working to get it to work? Or do you need to hire someone to take a sales motion that is already working at a small scale and you want to multiply it and make it bigger at a bigger scale? If your problem is the latter, the VP of sales title is the one you want to search for and to add on to your team. A very high percentage of them are very good at that particular use case. If your issue is the former, where the sales process does not work, do not expect a traditional VP of sales hire to be able to figure that out. Now, there is a rare, very, very rare unicorn of a sales executive that has scaled sales to organizations, but also happens to be a bit of a sales R&D mad scientist, right? Where someone is used to and has earlier in their career tried lots of different things to see what resonates with the marketplace and has iterated through informal A/B tests to figure out what messages will get people to buy, right? So you want someone that has that skill set, which is very rare. And in addition, you need someone that can think strategically across the entire business, not just the sales function. You want someone that can think strategically about the overall company strategy. What market and market segments does it operate in? They need someone to understand the technology and what is it good or not good at doing, and how does that technical advantage or disadvantage map to the needs of certain types of customers. So in other words, you need almost like a CEO level type individual that can help you troubleshoot that sales process that isn't working. So it is a very, very difficult hire to find. It's not impossible. We've had companies that have been able to do that. But where it works well is when you, as the CEO and founder, are involved to some degree in getting the sales motion to work. So you may not be the one making the cold calls. You may not be the one making the sales pitch, but you better be the one looking for the debriefing session for how those sales meetings went so you can internalize the feedback, right? It is your strategic choices that creates the container within which the VP of sales can be successful or not. You cannot just throw it over the fence and say, well, that VP of sales has 20 years of experience. I assume they would just figure it out, okay? I've not seen that work probably 95% of the time. So I don't want that to be you. I want to warn you of this particular pattern of behavior that's very, very common for many, many years so that you recognize it and hopefully can avoid it. Sorry to be on the down note, but I just want to prevent problems as much as we can in this ecosystem and industry of ours. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video. Any questions or comments, please add them below. I'd be happy to answer them.